Good evening and welcome to a championship edition of Inside the Borough, the FAU podcast for and by fans, brought to you by FAUAlsnest.com. My name is Dan. I'm joined with Jack and Shane here as always. And this week we are prepping for the conference, the conference championship game in Conference USA. North Texas coming to town to face FAU. FAU representing the East, North Texas representing the West. Obviously, again, we've had a lot of these biggest games in FAU history this year, which is the trend only continues now. So tonight we'll talk a lot about that, but we're also going to talk a little bit about Charlotte, kind of what we saw there. Talk a little bit about the game day experience. Now that we've had a pretty decent volume of people at the stadium, we want to talk a little bit about that experience. And we'll go from there. So I guess to kick it off, we'll start with Charlotte. FAU kind of easily handled the game, 31-12. It didn't really seem as if FAU was really engaged. I think they knew they were going to do enough to win. They knew there was no way Charlotte was going to beat us if we played halfway decent. I think it wasn't very disciplined. This was the first game. I think the first game where we've had multiple fumbles lost. I think it may be in the first game where we've had multiple fumbles overall. So you could kind of see the lack of execution wasn't there. I think the lack of focus wasn't there. A lot of second-teamers out there as well. But it was nice to kind of get that bad game that kind of every team seems to have, to get that game out of our system the week before the conference championship game and against an opponent like Charlotte. So good to get the win. But there certainly were some things that I know the team was a little frustrated with.
Yeah, kind of the fumbles, I guess, is maybe the only little teeny knock on Motor. That's his third lost fumble this season. He lost one against Bethune through the end zone. He fumbled one against La Tech. And now this week, a lot of it's him spinning, trying to stand up, get extra yards, ball pops out, kind of comes with it. Some people want to say the Buddy one, he was down. I thought it was bang, bang. Of course, it's a Conference USA game. You're not going to – 3 cameras there. So they were just sloppy. Driscoll seemed off. I mean, everyone just kind of seemed off. It's kind of just on the road, end of the season. The game in the end didn't really matter other than just, keeping the momentum going. They did show a couple new things. The first drive, they did show 2 running backs, which is, I believe, the first time they've gone to that all year. They went to Franklin earlier in the game, like we've kind of talked about a couple times on here, but that didn't really seem to work. I think Charlotte was kind of prepared for it. One thing will be interesting to kind of follow that I noticed Charlotte was doing, every time we subbed, they waited to the last minute to sub. They took their time, subbed their players. For those who don't know, like when a team goes fast, if we sub out a receiver or a tight end, we have to give the defense time to sub their players. So we'll sub someone out. They can hesitate for a second. The ref holds the ball, and then they can run like an extra linebacker or DB on the field or vice versa. And I noticed they were consistently kind of waiting and using this to the very last second where they can do that, sub their players. And I think they were doing that to kind of slow down our offense and how fast we give an extra breath. So I just thought that was curious. I noticed that a few times. They were just running their players on at the very last minute. We'll see if other teams kind of maybe try that.
It's genius, man. I'm kind of upset that one of us didn't think of that beforehand. It's genius, but it seems like something that's so easy to think of. So let's see if North Texas pulls that out of their rear end. It was just so frustrating to see the CUSA refs cover the ball time and time again. We're already on the line, ready to go, and then Charlotte's still switching players, and the umpire is right there with his hand over center, making sure we can't go, and it just killed the mood. The game itself, it was whatever.
We could also be giving credit to them. I could also be giving credit to them where I think it's smart, and it could just be they're just slow on their subs.
Yeah,
they are 1-11.
Yeah, this is a coach that I don't know why. I don't know why Charlotte's not firing him. I just don't get some. There's just we could talk about college football and the coaching carousel, and there's just some questionable moves out there, and I don't know why they're hanging.
What's up?
This guy won his best season was 5 wins last year, and then he won 6 wins when they were FCS at one time.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
Yeah, Lambert's got to go. They just fired the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator, I want to say, Monday. But Underdog Dynasty had a really good article really calling out the administration over there in the athletic. The people that make, the calls in the athletic department at Charlotte saying that, Lambert was great when it first started, but now this is a joke. You're showing carelessness when it comes to this program if you're not willing to hold the people in charge responsible. That being said, if you told me at the beginning of the season or even after the Buffalo game that we would be undefeated in conference play, and after that last conference game, we would be upset how the game went after we won 31-12. I would not believe you. I think you're pulling my leg. You're trolling me. So while that is great, it definitely was alarming to see how he played. It was nice to see McGriff working at the tight end position a little bit. He had 3 catches in 1 drive, which were impressive. Definitely cool to see Kareth White and Marcus Clark get some touches in the second half. It really just goes to show how deep we are at the running back position. We were able to dominate the line of scrimmage.
Marcus Clark was a serious contributor under Charlie Partridge's sophomore year. I mean, he was a serious contributor.
Yeah, absolutely. So
I really want to – yeah.
It would be nice to see him on the special teams because he has some acceleration down there. But at the same time, Jalen and Kareth were doing such good jobs. It was a fine game. Again, there are a few nice surprises from some players we're not used to seeing on the field. Just good to stay healthy and get ready for the conference championship.
How about Lane again? Right before halftime on a 4th and 8 at midfield. And he goes for it and just throws a bomb, almost out of frustration. Like they were struggling a bit.
Yeah.
And he's just like, and I texted one of my friends, Lane's kind of like a 8-year-old kid playing Madden.
I remember, that was good. Yeah.
And he's like, I'm just going to go for it, even though I mean, going for it from your own 21 on the first drive on 4th and 1 is one thing. Doing that, because, most coaches are thinking, okay, we're up. I think we were up like 2 scores at that time, or maybe 10 points or something. You know what? Don't want to give it to Charlotte at midfield. They get a couple first downs. They kick a field goal. They go into half with momentum. Let's just punt it and make adjustments. We played sloppy this half. That's what 99.99% of coaches around the world, wherever someone coaches football, is thinking. And he just throws a bomb just in your face. I just love how that's awesome. I mean, I wish more coaches just played the game like that.
It's fun, man. I mean, the way how he carries himself on the field and off the field, it's just fun. And if you're not going to have fun with it, then what are you doing?
Yeah, I mean, anyone who listened to the Levitard interview today, was just talking about it. And you can just tell he's having fun. I mean,
when
we were.
Well, we talked about his. We talked about like his Twitter uses and stuff like that. Again, he knows everything that he's doing, and in the Levitard interview, he was like, and he mentioned his agent said, well, people have told him athletic directors and presidents aren't going to like, what you do that. And he's like, I don't work for them. I don't care. So he knows what he's doing. and it is nice if you haven't for those that didn't know, he was on the Dan Le Batard show earlier today, and was actually on for 2 segments, a pretty good, solid 15 minutes, and shared really nothing about FAU, which is not surprising. Le Batard doesn't really talk sports for a sports show. They wanted to hear about Al Davis and Nick Saban stories and stuff like that. It was pretty entertaining, but anyways, yeah.
How much of you kind of talk about just us person before the season, but just on a picture with Lane Kiffin, just the personal PR he's done for himself in a year. I mean, Tennessee fans want him back. We were scolded. We were laughed at when we hired him. Oh, he'll be gone a year. Your program will be on sanctions. And now his ex-girl wants him back. It's amazing what he's done for himself. I mean, this year could have gone better for us.
Tennessee actually just got finished up with a basketball game. And the student section was actually chanting, "We want Kiffin." And the whole stadium heard it. It was on TV and everything. So it was a show. Now, Florida State fans saying if Jimbo leaves, they would want Lane. UF fans were saying it. NC State fans with what's going on at Tennessee now. It's insane. It's insane. We're definitely getting mocked earlier, but now no one is laughing at us anymore.
Cyrus from Underdog, who was on previously, I tweeted out a couple weeks ago, maybe it was last week, saying, do you remember when that article grading hires gave us an F for hiring Lane? And he said he was keeping it, and he had it handy when he does a season wrap-up of FAU. Because there was some stupid website that was grading the coaching hires. FIU got a B for hiring Butch or something like that, and FAU got an F, and it was that was just hate. But he has done a lot of personal PR stuff. I still think there's those kind of very traditional college football places. They're going to stay away from him, but that's why I was concerned about Arizona State, places like that are, lower level.
Speaking of F hires,
yeah,
oh my God, Arizona State. If FAU ever hired Herm Edwards, I would lose it. Hey, let's go with a guy with a 40% winning percentage that hasn't coached in 10 years.
Yeah,
because he's motivational. When he was at the Jets, and this is a little off subject, his last year. They had to hire a guy. His one job was to help Herm Edwards use his timeouts and clock management, when to use them before. Don't use it here. We'll say at the end of games.
Yeah.
How do you make it that far?
Yeah. I don't know.
That's like becoming a chef, and it's this is how you turn on the oven.
Yeah.
Amazing Arizona State hired him.
So, anyways, we'll kind of wrap up with Charlotte again. I think that the general consensus is we didn't play sharp, came out okay. I think it gave the team some things to be motivated for. I think Lane said the team didn't sing the fight song at the end because it wasn't a good game. Yeah. And so we'll move on. And before we move on to North Texas, I wanted to talk a little bit about we were talking about this before we started recording. But now that we've actually had, more than 5,000 people in the stands and at game days, we were talking a little bit about what the fan experience is, what the stadium experience is. And I think next year FAU's investment needs to be in, we've got a great stadium, but investing into a system and people that can actually run the heavy volume of customers. I mean, there's if you want to get a drink, whether you're going to get a beer, if you have, Shane mentioned this earlier, if it's 2017, if you're going to be a vendor at a sports game, you need to be able to take credit card or debit card. So I don't know. There's a couple things. I sit in the Acura Lounge and outside, and even in the Acura Lounge, there's only one credit card machine per bar area. So if you order a drink and then you have to wait a minute for that charge to go through, and then the person behind you orders a drink, it's oh, okay, well, we only have one credit card machine, so hold on, as opposed to just being able to swipe, back and forth. So I think that there's certainly some things that FAU can improve now that we have 10 to 13, sometimes 15,000 people in the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, during the FIU game, you say 15. I think right before it started rain, I think there was legit a little over 20,000 butts there. But, I'm on the Hyundai deck, and I went to get a beer right before halftime. I didn't have any cash. And it took me 25 minutes. I missed the last few plays of the second half and the last few plays of the first half and the first few plays of the second half. They have more cash lines than they do credit card lines, which, again, it's 2017. If there's guys walking around with coolers full of beer, those guys can take cash only. If you have $20 in your pocket, go to them. I'm sorry, but the bartenders back there, I don't think most of them aren't traditional bartenders. They're not like slinging out drinks like I would see at a busy bar on a Friday or Saturday night, which should be the expectation. Again, just not enough credit card machines. They get one beer, they do your card. It takes like a minute, for it to go through. I don't understand why you can't have 10 people back there, every single one of them, or just put a few iPads back there, use a Square app, and you can just get through people. I mean, the system has to be better, because anytime we get one of these Navy, FIU crowds, it's literally, it's awful.
Yeah, it's you get excited that all these people are going to be checking out FAU Stadium, many of them for the first time. We want to say it's the best on-campus football game experience in South Florida. But then, you're waiting 20 minutes in line for a Chick-fil-A sandwich, and then 25 minutes in line for a beer, and their credit card machine is down, and you go to the ATM, and then the ATM is broken. And you're just like, all right, screw it. I'm just going to go home. It's raining. It's hot. It sucks. Whatever. That leaves a bad taste in people's mouths. This is FAU. This isn't UF, Florida State, wherever. First impressions matter a lot over here, especially in a place like Boca Raton. So we got to get it right. It's becoming annoying that this level of incompetency has been going on for so long. I've never really been into the Hyundai deck, or Acura deck, whichever, before. When I'm at the game, I'm either in the press box or I'm in the student section. So it's, from my side, what I've seen, coming from a student perspective, it doesn't seem to be too bad, but at the same time, most of the students are intoxicated out of their minds to even know what's going on in the field, let alone how service is with concessions. That's my 2 cents with it. I will say, though, when it comes to security, complete crapshoot.
Yeah,
and,
forget it. My goodness, trying to get through.
It's a joke.
So I normally wear a knee brace that's got metal loaded on it, and I walk straight through the machine. The machine doesn't beep at all. There was one time I was wearing a knee brace, and I hurt my wrist, so I had a wrist brace on as well. Just walked right through the machine, didn't even wand me, nothing like that happened. Maybe the machine is set to not go off by that. I don't know. But like
I complained to my ticket out after one game where it was the Bethune game, and it took forever to get through security. I saw them patting down a 90-year-old lady.
Yeah, it just.
I'm like, come on, like.
I understand the safety aspect, but again, they're not prepared to handle the kind of volume, especially right before. I would say, unless you're in line 20 minutes before game time, by the time you make it to make it through and get to your seat, you're gonna be late. You're gonna miss the first 5 minutes of the game because you spend literally 20 minutes in line trying to get through. Like that's one of my biggest complaints this year.
And Dan, think how it is for the student section side. When all the students are over in the rat's mouth, everyone then leaves the tailgate at one time. You have 5,000 students trying to get in. And if people ever go to that gate where the students go into, there's just like 3 metal detectors over there that 3,000 to 5,000 to 7,000 students are trying to enter within a 30-minute span. So remember the Navy game during the national anthem, the student section is mainly empty, and students were outside the stadium chanting FAU, not knowing what the heck's going on inside. I remember seeing people complain about, oh, how disrespectful of FAU students to be chanting during the national anthem. They don't know what's going on. They're 2,000 deep outside trying to get in.
Yeah.
So it's, if you know that's going to happen every single week, why don't you do anything to fix it?
Yep.
It's just, at that point, it's not even incompetent anymore. So we'll see. We'll see what happens.
I just feel, and I know there's probably red tape. It probably has a lot to do with Chartwells, and they just hire and contract. But you know, it just, like I said, it shouldn't take 25 minutes to get a beer in a game where the stadium's 70% full.
Yeah. So if you have any comments, or you know somebody who may want to listen to this, definitely let us know. You can email us insidetheborough1961@gmail.com. So I guess we'll move on to the game, the championship week. North Texas, who we absolutely routed last time we played, 69-31. That game was never really close. North Texas is going to be. They've won 8 games, I think. I mean, that's certainly.
They're 9-3.
They're 9. Okay, so they won 9 games, same as us. I think the West was a little weaker this year than certainly than the East was. Going back to their schedule right now, they lost to Iowa, same score that we lost to Wisconsin. Their best win of the year was Army. They had Army at home, came down to like a last second field goal. But after us, they played
nobody. They played nobody.
They beat Old Dominion by a touchdown. They gave up 38 points. They beat La Tech by a point.
Ooh.
UTEP they beat. That's not really a team. Again, they beat Army. They beat Rice 30-14. So
Army's the only good team on that schedule after they played it.
So Army ran for like well over 500 yards against them. I think they attempted 2 passes in that game.
They gave up 49 points. They gave 49 points.
Yeah.
So go ahead, Shane.
Just to kind of it's always tough when you beat a team by a lot and you play them again, because you don't want to fix what's not broken. So they're going to make tons of adjustments, put in new wrinkles. Sometimes it's, we want to add new stuff, but like I just said, you don't want to fix that's not broken. But I think when you can't stop the run, which they can't, it doesn't matter. I mean, what we do isn't a mystery. I said, before the podcast that we essentially run a little bit of a triple option. I mean, the way, kind of all with run pass options, or Driscoll's option to keep with Willie Wright, and, or handing it to Motor. You're just not going to find D tackles and linebackers overnight to stop that. I think they're going to try and get Guyton the ball earlier. Yeah. They're going to make that one of those things, since he didn't have a catch, let's get him involved in the game. That'll be like one of those cliche things people will say to get him involved. So I'm sure they'll try and press it with him. Jeffrey Wilson isn't playing, who I remember there's still North Texas fans out there who still think he's a better back than Motor, but I mean, okay. I just don't see. I think playing them at noon's advantage to us, especially when they're coming over. It's an early game. That would be 11 a.m. start time for them.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to see. I'm kind of interested how we have not played. We've only played one early game all year, I guess, Wisconsin, and we started that game slow. That was kind of a noon start, so I'm kind of wondering how we come out. It's it's a different time.
Yeah.
It's a game day we haven't experienced in
a while.
Yeah, like since Wisconsin, however, 2.5 months ago.
And I think that's kind of fortunate that it is a game of such magnitude, because now we don't have to worry about there being a letdown, because there's going to be so much hype around the game. So yeah, it'll be interesting to be at noon, which it's at noon because of TV. So those if not in the area, it's on ESPN2. So at noon. So it'll be interesting. Fortunately, it's not going to be super hot, which will be nice for the fans. So
yeah, it's supposed to be a really nice day. So I'm sure I'll rain for 4 quarters.
Yeah, right.
I rewatched the FIU game, and when it was raining, they were joking, and they're like, "Yeah, there's nothing on the radar. It's just raining." And I'm like, "Well, 70% of the FIU games I've been to of the last 4 years, I've gotten wet, so I don't even care at this point."
It was literally like a spot just right over Boca. It's like it moved in and it just stopped right over Boca, and no, whatever.
It came from the coast, but it was really small, and then it literally just flared up over campus.
Yeah, it sucked.
And then it stayed on top of that for an hour before it slowly started to dissipate and move north. And it's just like literally the entire South Florida area, dude, include the Gulf Coast, Naples, Fort Myers, go all the way up to I don't even know, man, past Jupiter, go all the way up to Daytona, New Smyrna, and there was nothing anywhere except that one little speck.
Yeah.
Blades Road. Crazy. That's FAU, man.
So, anyways, back to the game.
Yeah. So back to North Texas. So something I want to say about Jalen Guyton, we shut him out when we played him. 0 catches. Didn't even attempt a pass in his direction. He did not play against Rice. I'm not entirely sure why that was. But since I want to say the Old Dominion game, he really hasn't been as hot as he was earlier in the year. I'm really impressed with Turner Smiley. I should remember the other guy's name.
Johnson, I think. The wide receiver.
What was that?
The wide receiver Johnson, I think it was. No, sorry. I'm thinking of a different game I was just watching. My bad.
Rico Bussey, he had 1 catch against us. He's been playing fine.
They're tight end. No, never mind.
Dude, it just completely blanked on me, and I had it written down somewhere. I'm like, yeah, this guy's been really impressing me. I don't know. I guess not too much if I can't remember his name. The running back has been playing really well. Nick Smith, who's replacing Jeffrey Wilson, he had like 170, 80 yards against Rice. Again, it's Rice. It's practically an FCS team. They just fired their head coach a couple days ago. But we would be pretty excited when Motor had 150, 170 yards against Bethune-Cookman. So that's something we have to look out for. Mason Fine, he's going to be looking for revenge. He's going to know what's not going to work. Latrell's going to make sure that these guys are playing for something more than just the conference championship game. They're playing for pride, knowing how we just walked on over them. So, I'm nervous, man. I mean, I've been nervous about a lot of games this year, mainly because I can't believe that we're having this season. But I'm nervous. Shane, you hit the nail on the head, dude. It's hard to beat a team twice, especially after.
Yeah, it is hard, but we were up 42-7 at halftime. I don't see where North Texas figures out how to stop the run. Stopping the run, you can't. Stopping the run isn't about design. Okay, it's about getting off blocks and tackling.
Yep.
And nobody's been able to.
I just don't think they had. Yeah, they don't have Aziz over there, and Stephen Leggett and guys like that to stop the run. They just they don't have the athletes on defense. Simple as that.
You're right, and I think again we've seen that the offense has changed throughout the year. I mean, we've added new wrinkles. Like last week, we saw the 2-back thing. We saw them go to John Franklin earlier in the game. I could see them doing that. I think that they have enough creativity on offense where if one thing's not working, they know they can immediately switch to something else and have success in it. Even if it's only 1 or 2 plays, like we saw that the 2 double passes. That was like a set. That Lane said that's a set thing. When they were in that position, they were going to run that. And so I think there's plenty of I have faith in the offense in the play calling that that will be positive. North Texas was Harrison Bryant's kind of coming out party. He was really successful. D'Anthony McGriff, I think, will be fine with him catching. Now we also have Caleb Woods. I mean, they'll have to be worried about our wide receivers where they really didn't have to worry about wide receivers last game. So, like we're saying, it's difficult to beat a team 2 times in a row, but I don't know. I mean, the game was over in the first quarter when it was 24-0 in the first quarter. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, maybe the only thing I'm thinking is North Texas comes out ready. They might have a first punch. Kind of coming out. I think if we we kind of maybe withstand that. We've done the defense is flipped a little bit. They've done a really good job of getting pressure on the quarterback the last few weeks. In the FIU game, we didn't have a chance to have a podcast last week. I mean, Rashad Smith is playing some really, really good football. I think he has 4 sacks in the last 2 games. He had 3 against FIU and picked up another one or another half a sack. I don't know how they statted it out against Charlotte. They've been using him. Yeah, they've been using him to blitz a lot. Hunter Snyder's always there. I think it's just kind of luck. We've had our hands on some balls, but we have not had an interception in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, it's been weird, man. That's been our bread and butter defensively, and we haven't been able
to. Against FIU, there's 2 we should have. There was 2 that Magoo threw up, one where Shelton Lewis, the one where they scored on that long touchdown at the end.
Yeah.
Shelton Lewis just mistimed his jump. I think if he can do that 9 more times, he probably gets that interception. He looks like he jumped a half a second too early. And there was another one where Magoo threw it up, and Jalen Young, I think, should have got under it, but it was like kind of just another weird mistimed jump. I think Aziz had his hands on one against La Tech, so that he couldn't come down with. So we've been close. I think hopefully we get back to getting some interceptions.
I want Aziz to have a pick 6 probably more than anything in the world. I want him to get his hands on one and then just celebrate in the end zone like all hell's broken loose, man. I mean, he's heart passion. I love it.
Going into this week, he was 7th in the nation in tackles, and he was, I think, 5th in tackles per game, and that's with him missing a game. I mean, he's just a machine.
Remember, we didn't have him when we were up in Buffalo, and look with how much we struggled in that game. Look at how flat we looked in that game. We didn't play with any passion, and you could see how much that hurt, not having him on the field. Just give him 1 pick 6. God, that's all I'm asking. All right, hook him up.
We don't. Do we do? Oh, we have 1 defensive. How many did we have? 1 defensive touchdown this year
against Bethune-Cookman. Yep.
Yeah, I'd like to see one. Yeah, Chris Tooley.
We'll see.
So, yeah, I think that's probably about it. I think I certainly like our chances. I think, Shane, what'd you say? The line was -12 FAU?
Yeah, we opened at like -10.5, and it's already moved. I'm sure by kickoff we'll probably be 2 touchdown favorites. I know bettors, kind of they don't like to play to the previous score. It's the same time we are playing, UCF's playing Memphis, which is another rematch championship game. UCF beat Memphis like 49-14 in the beginning, in kind of middle of the season. And that, the UCF's like 10-point favorites on that. So, you can tell bettors are kind of scared to lay all their money based on what happened the first game. But I just think we're the better team, and just the one thing is just I don't see how they can stop the run.
I mean, hopefully we can just use Motor, Buddy, dudes, bring in Kareth and Clark, run some Driscoll option runs in there, and use that to set up a pass later on in the game and just kill them. kill their hopes and dreams by just running it 10 yards, play after play after play.
Yeah, and hopefully by noon the next day we should probably know where we're going bowling.
Yeah. Any?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Where would you guys like to go? By the way, Dan, where would you want to go? What bowl game and against whom?
And certainly next week we'll talk all about the bowl.
The Rose Bowl against USC. I mean, that's where I'd like to go, but no. No, I'd like to play USF in the St. Pete Bowl. I know a lot of people are kind of chomping to play a P5 school.
Do it.
As much. I don't want to go there yet. I playing the 6-6 P5 school is fun, especially if it's a team like Florida State, which someone predicted in the Independence Bowl, which is I don't want to go to Shreveport, Louisiana.
Yeah.
I can. I mean, they'll probably have an interim coach and not want to play, and no one will really give us credit for. They'll just gawk at us beating them. Oh, Florida State didn't want to be there, type thing. And then also, I mean, just you play a team like that. I'm sorry, as great as we are, really as fast as we are. I mean, Florida State's defense just as fast. There might be 6-6, but there's a bunch of 5-star defense players still running around out there. So kind of without having a full passing game and a really complete game, I still wouldn't see that matchup favoring us because they can kind of beat us at the things we're good at, just like up front and with speed. I would love to play USF. I think that'd be super fun. I think that matchup would kind of just mean more, and kind of playing USF's ranked. I'd rather play a 9-win top 25 AP team in state than a 6-6 P5 team on an intern coach. I mean,
yeah.
Right? I mean, that USF game would be fun. They've had a great season. If it's in St. Pete, no Boca Bowl, please.
Yeah,
but I don't think that'll happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen.
I have
and another one.
Oh, go ahead.
Another one, just before you go, and I know some people are they roll their eyes at it and they're like, why New Mexico? I've seen some people us against San Diego State in that New Mexico Bowl. San Diego State's a really good football team. They probably have the other best G5 running back in the country, and I can't remember. Rashad Penny, right?
Yeah,
is his name. And I mean he's unbelievable. They're very similar program to us out west.
Yeah.
And that'd be a great matchup. I want to see a great matchup. Like I said, I just don't want to see us play a P5 team just to say we beat a P5 team when they're hanging on their last leg on a disappointing season.
I have a list of rebuttals for you, Shane. USF fans, if we end up playing USF, it will be just as disappointed that they're playing FAU as Florida State would be.
Okay, well, someone should I mean, I get what their season is, but I mean, I'm sorry, they can. I just don't get the obsession with playing a C5. They're like they want to go to the Military Bowl, so they can play 6-6 Wake Forest. Really, I mean, that's what you want to do. Or you want to play Lane Kiffin in an in-state conference championship. I think it's more fun to play an in-state team than just play some P5 school that's looking to get the season over with.
So
yeah, that's a good point.
Well, I mean that's why for me, if we're gonna play a P5 team that's gonna be like 6-6, I'd want it to be Florida State. If it's not gonna be Florida State, then I don't want to play any other P5 team if they're gonna be 6-6 or 7-5. The Independence Bowl has a higher buyout. It's twice the size of the St. Pete Bowl. It's over $1 million. Yeah, Shreveport sucks, and St. Pete's cooler. Central Avenue, it's closer to me.
Yeah, but those payouts come with the higher the payout, but like I pointed out on the board ones, those bigger bowls sometimes require you to buy more tickets. So Independence is gonna be like, okay, well, out of your $2 million, here's 30,000 tickets. FAU, sell them.
So has the Shreveport ever sold 30,000 tickets the last 5 years?
Well, USF played South Carolina there last year. I don't know what the attendance is. I mean, I think it's.
They played in the Birmingham Bowl last year. There was decent attendance.
Oh, is that what?
It was fine.
I thought that was.
Dude,
maybe
both stadiums are hideous. So it is what it is. I just think being able to beat Florida State would be the perfect cherry on top to this wonderful season. We've beaten USF in the past, just several years ago. We play them in a couple of years from now. Let's have a swing at one of the big guys. Yeah, people say, "Oh, it's a down year. They're not good." Well, USF's not ranked in the college football poll. You know, they're ranked in everything else.
Well, they're ranked in the AP poll. I mean, I think beating Quentin Flowers in a 9-3 team that just put on a show against UCF is going to be a lot better than playing Jimbo, like a Florida State without Jimbo Fisher.
Yeah.
And someone that didn't have DeAndre Francois. I mean, even if we beat them 82-0 in that game, we'll forever just be chalked up as we do not care. As opposed when you beat USF, we can be like, yeah, you know what? We beat a Quentin Flowers who put on an absolute show. And I think that game matters more. More of our fans are going to be able to travel. You know, you're going to have those – if we go play the Independence Bowl, you're going to have those depressing shots of like 300 just cold FAU fans in a corner.
It's going to be rainy.
No, it's going to be like 43
be
degrees and cold. Yeah, that game has 43 degrees and foggy, and Florida State players like texting on the sideline because they don't want to be there. Like Derwin James. Also, you know how many Florida State players probably won't play in that game? You think Derwin James is going to go out there and play against us 6-6 Independence Bowl?
Yeah.
Or he's going to be at his agent's apartment when that game's going on. I'm being serious.
Watching a different game.
He'll be
watching a different game. Just like I think playing a top 25 USS team is so much better. I don't get what this obsession is.
The game would be better, but I just want to see someone different. You did pull up a great point about the travel. Many more fans will be able to go to St. Pete. I'm pretty sure the attendance and Shreveport will be atrocious, and that's putting it nicely. So we'll see, dude. Every bowl game has its pluses and has its minuses. The only one that was all minuses to me was the Bahamas Bowl. And UAB took that spot. They'll be playing Ohio. So we'll see. We'll see what the future holds, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so St. Pete. And just the other fact, you know, it's winter break. So many FAU students are from Tampa or Orlando, and a lot of them will just be able to go to that game. I mean, let's make it fun for our fans.
You guys will be crashing at my place, right?
I get to sleep with the lane cut out.
Yeah, dude, he's right here. I mean, I'm on the couch, man. He'll watch you sleep.
I'm just gonna hang out in Ybor City all night. Won't go to sleep.
But why? You're just gonna sleep on 7th Avenue?
Yeah, pretty much. Just kick it with the dangerous. Yeah.
Now that the serial killer is caught, we'll be fine.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Yep.
All right. Well,
guy played football.
We'll definitely we'll talk all about the bowls next week, and hopefully we celebrate the conference championship. And so I think after make sure you get to the game. If not, ESPN2 12 noon, and hopefully when we get back we are celebrating the conference championship. So
we're popping champagne, boys.
Popping champagne, yes. Follow Jack on Snapchat so you'll see him pop champagne in the press box. It'd be great. So, all right. So, for Shane and Jack, as always, really appreciate you guys checking us out, and make sure you check us out on Twitter at Inside the Burrow. What's up, Shane?
1 minute. Anyone know? Just a quick thing, and maybe Rick, when you watch this, you could post another one. Has FAU ever beat anyone twice in a season before in their history? And maybe even back to the FCS days, or maybe we beat Bethune in a regular season and in a playoff. I mean, that's.
Yeah.
I'll check.
Question. Yeah.
I'll check. That is a good question.
So, all right. So then we'll see you next time, and go Owls.
All right.
Bye.